Well, round two is always so much better than the first round, especially once you can work out all the kinks. You know, live streaming is a whole lot of fun with technology when it works. But happy Monday to you. Welcome in. I think we've got everything rolling here. We've got our people set up in the social media arenas, and I want to welcome you guys across all the platforms: Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, streaming to you live. It's another edition of the Joe Raineri Show, brought to you by WagerTalk.com. You want to talk about knowledge being power, folks? There is no more knowledge, no more free knowledge than what you've got available right at your fingertips by heading over to WagerTalk.com, especially if you're planning on participating in any of the, brand new NBA seasons. Game one's tonight. We've got Monday Night Football. We got Major League Baseball playoffs still. We got a whole lot of stuff to be able to wager and take a little action on, and the more knowledge you have, the better, and nobody does it better than WagerTalk.com. So make sure you guys head over to there. Up top, Miami Acura hotline, 855-983-2255. That is 855-WTF-2255. That's how you reach us here on the show. Of course, your thoughts, your opinions, always welcomed here on the show. Definitely want to hear from you guys here today on what you witnessed yesterday in the NFL, Saturday in college football. It was total chaos, pandemonium across both of those arenas on Saturday and Sunday. What was up was down a lot of times, and yesterday there was probably no more craziness than what happened in the Miami Dolphins game. And we're going to talk to our man Travis Wingfield from LockedOnDolphins.com. Nobody breaks down the Dolphins film. Nobody breaks down the Dolphins quite like Travis does. So we are going to talk to him in just a couple of minutes so we can try to figure out and make sense what in the hell that was that we witnessed yesterday, especially when the day started out all over. And shout out to our friends over there at 5 Reasons Sports who had broke the Tannehill story that it looked like Tannehill wasn't going to be playing yesterday, that Brock Osweiler, in fact, was going to be behind center. And once that happened, the line shot from, it was hovering around -2.5, -3. It shot all the way up to -7 for the Chicago Bears, -7.5 once, just about an hour before kickoff, once Brock Osweiler was announced as the starter. And can I just tell you, you Dolphin fans are priceless, because the amount of ridicule going on social media yesterday, the minute we knew that Brock Osweiler was going to be in the starting lineup, and that was going to be your starting quarterback going up against Khalil Mack and that front seven of Chicago. Can I tell you something? Nobody is funnier, and nobody is funnier than the Miami Dolphin fan base, because what you guys did yesterday on social media to Brock Osweiler and to the team ahead of that game was simply priceless. What you guys did during that game, every time Chicago, especially after the third quarter, when Chicago was up 21-7, I think, at one particular point in the game. The roasting, the season was over, that it was, forget about it, call Colin Kaepernick. I mean, the amount of tweets and the amount of social media bashing by the Dolphin fans yesterday at the end of the third quarter was just hilarious. It was some of the best memes, some of the best trolling I have ever seen by Dolphin fans. You guys were really in rare form yesterday. And then something happened. Something very strange happened. And he's only about 5'7". His name is Albert Wilson. And he's pretty quick. And then Albert Wilson happened in the fourth. And then all of a sudden, now you guys, like a flipping of the switch. I've never seen anything quite like the way the Dolphin fans pivoted and went into attack mode. About how their team was going to win and how they can do this and how great Adam Gase is and how great Brock Osweiler is. And, oh, my God, I can't believe. I mean, the way you guys pivoted from the third quarter to the fourth quarter into overtime yesterday was a thing of beauty. So hats off to Dolphin fans. I have never seen people go from, oh, Christ, the sky is falling, our season is over, say goodnight, we deserve this, everybody's got to be fired, we got to get rid of everyone, too. Holy shit, we're 4-2, look out, here we come, Patriots, now we've got the Lions coming to town, now we can be 6, now all of a sudden you're talking playoffs, and we don't even know if Ryan Tannehill is actually going to be able to come back and play. So I hats off to the Dolphin fans across social media. You guys were in rare form yesterday. I've never seen from hopelessness to Super Bowl as fast as I watched you guys on social media do it yesterday. But what does it all mean? We're going to talk to Travis Wingfield coming up. LockedOnDolphins.com. He is the man to talk to when it comes to Phins football. Where do you guys go from here? And what is the latest on Ryan Tannehill? Is he coming back? Is he not? A lot of cloak and dagger yesterday by Adam Gase. And I will say this also about Adam Gase. The man does not give a shit what you think about him. Okay, and if you've ever thought about it in the NFL, we've got a lot of coaches that are very aware, a lot of players that are very aware of what is being said on social media, on Twitter, about them, and they're very cognizant of this. And a lot of coaches, they play to what happens on social media. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And in this day and age where you try and get everyone to like you, especially on social media, I can tell you right now, one of the biggest things that I learned over the weekend is Adam Gase doesn't give a shit if you like him or if you hate him. As a matter of fact, he could give two shits less about your existence. He is going to do what Adam Gase is going to do. He doesn't care if your name is Jarvis Landry, Adamakin Sue. He has done nothing but show the world that he doesn't care what the hell you think about him. He is going to do what he wants to do his way, whether you agree with him or you disagree with him. Adam Gase could give two shits less about your thoughts, and he proved it yesterday once again, not only on that field, not only by keeping Brock Osweiler as the backup quarterback, okay, bringing Brock Osweiler to the damn team to begin with, getting him to sign with the team, but every other move that he has made, Adam Gase has been so contrarian in his thought process. It's a shock that he's an NFL coach, and most of the people that I read on social media are not coaches in the NFL. It's shocking, because many of you would have had dismantled, would have fired Adam Gase, would have fired this team. You would have sold the franchise. You would have done all sorts of things that Adam Gase didn't do, and yet Adam Gase is sitting with a team that nobody gave a shot, including most Dolphin fans. They are sitting at 4-2. With a fairly easy schedule moving forward. They're going to get healthier. Cameron Wake had a little scopage of the knee. It looks like he'll be back. We're going to get some help in the secondary, and we don't know what's going to happen with Ryan Tannehill, but the reality is what we've seen yesterday is that Brock Osweiler is more than capable of winning a couple of games until Tannehill can get back. That was not the scenario last week, over the last couple of weeks, with Dolphin Nation and Phins fans. So it's good news for the Miami Dolphins, and I could not, if I was handing out grades yesterday, A+ to Adam Gase, the reason the Miami Dolphins won that game was coaching, play calling, understanding who they have in that lineup, understanding the ability of their players, and putting them in a position to win. And we have talked about this a lot on the show, and we've talked to analysts and beat reporters all over the country, and the one thing that separates the really good coaches from the mediocre and the rest in this league is when head coaches put less than talented rosters in a position to be successful, they more often than not are successful. What Sean McDermott did again yesterday on the road in Houston with a Buffalo team that, let's all face it, is less than talented across the board. What he has done to that defense is going to keep them in a lot of games this year. They were in it again yesterday until the Nathan Peterman experiment had to rear its ugly head. And I can tell you right now, if Sean McDermott could do it all over again, he'd have suited up 85-year-old Derek Anderson over there and threw his ass in a game outside of and not have had to deal with Nathan Peterman. But it is what it is. The truth is, any other coach with that particular team probably doesn't have a chance to win that game in the end like Buffalo did. And the only reason they did is because of quality coaching, good coaches, great coaches, put their teams that have less than stellar ability, less than stellar talent. They put them in a position to be able to be successful. That's what Adam Gase did yesterday. He took a bunch of people nobody's even heard of before, slapped a jersey on them, especially on the offensive line, and put these guys in a position to be able to be successful, and they were. They ended up beating the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears, no excuse for you. Where was that defense? I mean, honestly, between Von Miller and Khalil Mack, you want to talk about two of the greatest defensive edge pass rushers we have seen in this league in a long time. Their names weren't even mentioned yesterday in either one of those games. I didn't hear Von Miller's name mentioned once in that Rams game, and Khalil Mack, I wasn't even sure if he was playing. At one point, I had to make sure that, is he still hurt? I mean, yes, he had an ankle injury, whatever. But they were moving him all over the line, left side, right side, Laramie Tunsil, Jawan James. It didn't make a difference where they put him. He wasn't getting close to Brock Osweiler. So to have a day like that where two of the best defensive players in the league were nowhere to be found was mind-blowing to me. Absolutely mind-blowing. And Chicago, congratulations. Coming off a bye, you were not prepared to play in that game. You looked gassed after about 20 minutes in 89-degree humidity. You didn't know what the hell to do. You guys were you were sucking wind big time. So, yes, the Miami Dolphins have a very distinct home field advantage when it comes to that. We know what it's like in Green Bay to play in minus 12 degrees or Denver with 2 feet of snow, but you try getting guys, maybe the best home field advantage in the league from that standpoint. Guys are not prepared in October to play in 89-degree humidity like it was, yes, and it was stifling yesterday. It is a different game. You know, when you spend most of your time up in Chicago and you sucking down that wind up over there, and then you try to come and play in this, it's a different animal. There is no way to go about it. It is a different animal, and the Dolphins took advantage of that yesterday and shut down one of the best defenses in the NFL because they were just sucking ass the entire second half of that game. So kudos to them. We're going to talk, like I said, to our good friend Travis Wingfield from LockedOnDolphins.com. Nobody does a better job of dissecting what goes on with the Miami Dolphins than the guys at LockedOnDolphins.com. Some great information. Make sure you follow Travis Wingfield also on Twitter at Wingfield NFL. He's going to join us here in just a couple of minutes, try and go over exactly the great news for the Miami Dolphins. But I did want to talk about some of the other things that I noticed yesterday in the NFL. Couple of things that maybe we didn't see coming. For instance, did any of us see the Baltimore Ravens defense doing what the Baltimore Ravens defense does? Yes, the Baltimore Ravens defense just absolutely destroyed the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans offense is about as sad as they come. What'd they give up, 12? I believe, right? They gave up 12 sacks yesterday. And I know Tyler Lewin was out, and that's their best offensive lineman. But good Christ, 12 sacks, getting shut out at home the way they did. I mean, hats off to what the defense of the Baltimore Ravens are doing. They had a day and a half, when I tell you. Just the third time a quarterback has been sacked 11 times in a game since 1993, by the way. Mariota had only been sacked 6 times all year long, and he managed to get sacked at least 11, if not 12 times on yesterday. So the Ravens, they also held Mariota to 10 of 17, or 10 completions for 117 yards. He was also the leading rusher, Mariota. He had 25 yards on the game. So congratulations, Tennessee. Whatever hope that you had pretty much had gone right out the window there yesterday. Adam Thielen is certainly becoming a legend in Minnesota. I think we can all agree that Adam Thielen has quietly become the best wide receiver in the NFL that nobody wants to talk about. We already know how good Julio Jones is, but Julio Jones is also on pace to have just about 2,000 receiving yards and 0 touchdowns this year. I can't figure it out. I have no idea. I can't remember the last time that a receiver would have or lead the league. He's averaging 118 yards a game in receiving, and he's got no touchdowns yet on the year. And it's mind-blowing to me. I don't know the last time, or actually, what do we got? The receiver with the most yards but no touchdowns last year was Terrence Williams of the Cowboys. He had 568 yards on 53 catches and no scores. as of yesterday, at the end of the game yesterday, Julio Jones has 707 yards on 44 catches, okay? And he's got no touchdowns. And we all know that Terrence Williams is not a number one receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. But the fact that this guy, as good as he is, could actually have 2,000 receiving yards this year and never make it to the end zone would be absolutely mind-blowing to me. I mean, mind-blowing to me. So keep that in mind as we move along. Those of you in fantasy football who love Julio Jones, congratulations. I mean, he's racking up the yardage in a PPR league. He's doing wonders for you guys. But the truth is, he ain't scoring any touchdowns, which means he ain't scoring you any big points anytime soon. Just nuts. Also, James Conner is a beast. 111 yards yesterday, 2 touchdowns as the Steelers defeat the Bengals again at Paul Brown Stadium. Again, they continue to do that over and over and over and over. There is a report that Le'Veon Bell will be heading back to the Steelers this week, or at least in the next coming days. The team is on a bye, the Steelers. We'll see if that happens, but I know there's a lot of people going, we don't need him. We don't need Le'Veon Bell. We got James Conner. Well, we'll see how that works out for you. And one of the other things, too, I wanted to say that I noticed, Melvin Gordon could possibly be the best running back in the National Football League nobody's talking about. And it's kind of because he's stuck in San Diego or L.A. I'm sorry, not San Diego, L.A., and nobody's even talking about them in L.A. But he had another 3-touchdown game yesterday, and he rushed 132 yards, 3 scores, in that Browns game as the Chargers just dismantled the Browns at home. He's averaging 7.3 yards per carry, and his longest play of the day went for 16 yards. So it's not like he's actually rushing. You know, he's not getting these big chunks of yardage while rushing and maintaining that average, which would screw that average all the way up. It's not like he ran for 80 yards here, 50 here, and all of a sudden now he's got over 7 yards per carry. No, his longest rush was 16 yards, and he's still grinding out 7 to 8 yards per carry this year. The guy is a beast. We already know fantasy football. We know what kind of beast Melvin Gordon is, but he's not getting any love. We keep hearing about Todd Gurley, and listen, Todd Gurley is in a class all his own also, but the truth is Melvin Gordon is certainly making a case for being in the top 2 or 3 running backs in the league, if not the top running back this year, and nobody's talking about him. But I do think the Chargers, people are going to start talking about the Chargers now, because outside of Kansas City in that division, who now has a loss, and they still got to play each other here, the Chargers are very much alive for that AFC West title, and they can score with the best of them. They can absolutely score with the best of them. So some good stuff there yesterday. A lot of fun going across. The Cowboys just pretty much proved that Jacksonville's a bunch of frauds. That defense isn't good enough to stop anybody. And if you can't stop a Dallas offense that was averaging only 16 points a game, and you gave up 24 in the first half, there's really no need to tell everyone how great you are, because you're not that great. And I know, listen, Blake Bortles this, Blake Bortles that. I know. We all know Blake Bortles is sad. Only had 149 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Yes, I get that. But the truth is, great defenses will allow your team, even with Blake Bortles at quarterback, to have a shot at winning these games. That's 2 weeks in a row now. The game was over at halftime. And that's not a championship caliber defense in anybody's book. I can never remember a championship caliber defense getting blown out back-to-back weeks in a season where the defense didn't rise to the occasion and help the offense, or at least give them a chance to be able to win. What Buffalo is doing right now with defense and no offense, what is your excuse, Jacksonville? I keep hearing about how great you are, but the truth is you went on the road twice now and got demolished by teams. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. Kansas City put points up on you. They put points up on everybody. But to go to Dallas, a place where Dallas doesn't play very well at home, it's not like they have a great home field advantage. Their numbers are putrid over the years. We also know Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett was supposed to be fired. Dak Prescott is terrible. They got no wide receiver. Bring back Des Bryant. I've heard it all over the last couple of weeks with the Dallas Cowboys. And somehow the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, how many of you had laying 3 points as a road favorite? How many of you had Jacksonville last night going, that defense is just going to feast all over Dak Prescott? Well, it was the other way around because Dak and Ezekiel Elliott, that offensive line, and Cole Beasley, who scored 900 points yesterday in fantasy football, yeah, they ate up Jalen Ramsey and everybody else on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And by the way, Jalen Ramsey, not for nothing, man, and I hate to bring this up, but if you are going to be a shit talker, okay, you cannot only talk shit when you're winning, my friend, okay? You also have to be able to suck it up and be able to admit when your ass is getting beat. Otherwise, it just takes the luster out of you being a total trash talker. This was the interview after the game yesterday at Dallas Stadium, there, Jerry World in Arlington. This was what he had to say, Jalen Ramsey, Mr. Shit Talker of the Year, had to say about his team here.
Ass beat.
How much of a shock is it that this defense comes out and gets their ass beat, considering the talent you guys have?
You guys have played together a lot as a secondary. How do you kind of explain some of the blown assignments that you guys had early in this game?
Coach said that he felt like it wasn't an effort issue; it was a miscommunication issue. Do you agree with that?
Jalen, what challenge did Cole Beasley pose today?
Defense usually plays with a lot of swagger and confidence. When these happen to kind of get you guys mojo back.
You got what it takes in this room to kind of regroup and get back on track. We'll see.
Is this still the best defense in the NFL, Jalen? Is this still the best defense in the NFL?
We ain't playing like it.
There's a time in 2016 you thought the Cowboys would take you instead of Zeke. Did you have a chance to talk to Zeke today?
Yeah, and it just goes on and on and on from there. And he kept giving those answers there, which is a total crock of shit. Because if you are going to be a shit talker, all right, then if it's the one thing that we know from the classics in this game, okay, the Steve Smiths of the world, the Deion Sanders of the world, yeah, they walk the walk and they talk the talk. And when it didn't go that way, they didn't give answers, okay? They'd get fire up, they'd get pissed, and they'd swear to come back and destroy everybody. But not you, Jalen. You seem to think it's okay to tell everyone how great you are, throw every quarterback in a GQ magazine interview under the bus, tell how everybody else sucks, and then when it comes to the camera being on you and the spotlight being on you, you got nothing but to say, man. Yeah, that ain't going to cut it, dude. That ain't, not in this NFL, it ain't going to cut it. Yeah, if you're going to be a shit talker, then be a shit talker, whether you're winning or you're losing. It's nobody likes the dude who's only always right when, when he's on top of the world, not when he's on the bottom. So sorry about that, Jalen. Don't buy it whatsoever. All right, coming up, we are going to talk with a good friend, Travis Wingfield from LockedOnDolphins.com. We're going to get to the bottom of what the Dolphins did yesterday. Also, Miami Acura hotline 855-983-2255. Your thoughts on what you witnessed over the weekend. Would love to hear them. Want to send a shout out to our folks there on social media. Jared, want to say hello to you. Lexa, always a pleasure to see you. 8-Ball, always a pleasure to see you on a Monday afternoon, my friends. You guys, welcome in. Thanks for making us a part of your day. And speaking of Miami Acura, why don't I tell you about what they got going on with the all-new 2019 RDX. If you haven't taken it for a test drive, what are you guys waiting for? Get there. Take it for a test drive. The deals are unbelievable. The car drives itself. It's completely redesigned. And right now, it's like they're practically giving them away. Lease deals like we've never seen on the all-new 2019 RDX. It's South Dixie Highway for those of you in the 305. You know where to go see them and hang out. Outside of the 305, simply call them, guys. 855-564-4669. That's 855-564-4669. Give them a buzz. Tell them you want to stop by, make an appointment, take a test drive for the all-new 2019 RDX. I promise you, you are going to thank me that you did. All right, now we got a few more of our sponsors we just want to send a shout-out to really quickly. Low Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, and, of course, our friends at Miami Acura. And then coming up here in 2 minutes, we've got Travis Wingfield from LockedOnDolphins.com. Where do the Dolphins go from here? We'll talk to him and find out. Don't go anywhere.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. That's 800-898-0816.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Don't be such a pussy. Subscribe to the Say It With Me podcast with Joe Raineri on iTunes today.
Hey guys, happy Monday to you. It is total pandemonium here in South Florida. Miami Dolphin fans, they don't know what to do. Their heads are exploding. So we're going to try to figure it out real quick here as we are joined by Travis Wingfield at LockedOnPhins, LockedOnDolphins.com. Some great stuff yesterday. And Travis, first, thanks for taking some time out. You probably haven't been to sleep since yesterday, but the biggest question right off the bat, what was with those atrocious orange uniforms with the Chicago Bears yesterday?
I think they were trying to top the Dolphins look from a couple of years ago on that Thursday night game in Cincinnati. Because, those were terrible. The creamsicle delights are back, I guess.
Woo! Those were ugly as ass. But in all honesty, I mean, finish this question because I think it really comes down to this. The Miami Dolphins won this game yesterday because what?
Albert Wilson. I mean, it's 2 catches, 2 touchdowns, had 102 yards after the catch on both of them. He broke 2 tackles on both of them, so 4 broken tackles and 102 yards after the catch. The guy is amazing. He has 5 touchdowns this year. That's 4 more than Jarvis Landry, his replacement. About the same amount of yards as Jarvis Landry on about, half the target. So this guy is producing at a highly efficient rate, and he's just something after the catch. You have that ability to break tackles, but also the speed to run after the catch, and he showed that in spades yesterday.
Yeah, no, he was absolutely fantastic, but I think we also have to give credit to the offensive line and the job they did shutting down Khalil Mack and that front 7 of the Chicago Bears. What impressed you most about the offensive line yesterday?
Yeah, you mentioned the 2 tackles. Khalil Mack actually flipped over to the right side of the formation, which is something he didn't really do much for the Bears before this game, just trying to get a different look for him because Jawan James, the Dolphins' right tackle, shut him out. And then he goes over to Laremy Tunsil, who's a better tackle, and he shut him out too. So both those tackles played really well. The center, Travis Swanson, for 2 games in a row now off the bench in place of Dan Kilgore, has played really well. So the biggest mismatch probably across the NFL landscape, and the Dolphins win it somehow.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Travis Wingfield joining us at Wingfield NFL, LockedOnDolphins.com. How much of it was the fact that maybe the Chicago Bears were gassed in 89-degree humidity and that weather yesterday? I mean, I know we're 6 weeks into the season here, but didn't it look like they were just coming off a bye, very lethargic, like they just weren't ready to play?
Yeah, I mean, make no mistake about the fact that the Dolphins do have a home field advantage, and that definitely, becomes tenfold this time of year when the weather's still really, really hot down there. And we saw it last year on a Monday night game. The Patriots come down, and it's nighttime, it's December, and they're still getting gas in the fourth quarter. So put a team from the Midwest down there in the middle of October in that heat with the way they built that stadium and all the sunshine coming down on them, and a reason they wore those hideous orange uniforms, trying to get out of those dark uniforms. And they were gassed. I mean, how else do you describe Brock Osweiler going up and down the field on them than them just being tired and not ready to play?
Yeah, it was very noticeable, especially in the first half. The third quarter was kind of where they put it all together. It was the best quarter they had, but they did. They looked like they ran out of steam, especially once you put the ball in the hands of Albert Wilson. But Brock Osweiler, you mentioned it. I mean, social media was like shooting fish in a barrel yesterday. The minute we learned Tannehill was out, Brock Osweiler was in. I mean, Dolphin fans across the world, Travis, were just ripping this move, ripping this announcement, and then all of a sudden they might be singing a little different tune here today.
I told my fiance right before the game started, I said, I'm kind of excited that I don't have to really get my blood pressure up today because I'm not expecting much. And then, sure, they go ahead and have the craziest game in the NFL this season under Brock Osweiler. But, yeah, I don't think that anyone thought they had much of a chance because we've seen Brock kind of the opposite direction after he got that big contract in Houston. And he doesn't really have the arm talent. He kind of was prone to the big game-breaking mistake in his career at Houston and then before that as well. But now, I mean, he really handled the offense well. I think maybe the urgency of having to be put in the lineup 90 minutes before kickoff might have had something to do with it, but he was sharp. He got the ball out, go crazy over, but he played well enough to win, did exactly what you want your backup quarterback to do.
Yeah, exactly correct. I mean, he was exactly what they needed. And, this coaching staff, Adam Gase included, has received a whole lot of criticism from fans and from the media, play calling, just, scheming. But yesterday, I don't think there could have been a better outcome or a better game for them to showcase just how talented the coaching staff is in order to be able to call what they called yesterday, given the pieces that they were given.
Yeah, it definitely went that way on both sides of the football, too. Both these teams kind of being multiple in the things they can do, but finding that balance in the running game. And it's weird because when the Dolphins are having success on the ground, there's a lot of kind of, I don't want to say rinky-dink gadget stuff, but there kind of is. They ran that same little, like, Frank Gore in the H-back roll position where he comes across in motion and they pitch it to him forward like a pass play, but it's still a running play in a sense. So, I mean, they just found a way to kind of be deceptive and keep the Bears defense off, on their toes, and it really worked out for them all game.
What did you think of Adam Gase? And I know a lot of people were going crazy at this point. Kenyon Drake, he fumbles on the 1-yard line, could have put the game away, loses the fumble, goes on the sidelines, and is just devastated, mentally devastated by it for the rest of the game. But Adam Gase didn't shy away from him. That winning drive, he was on the field for that winning drive at points there. So how much of that was Adam Gase going, you know what, you're still our guy, we believe in you, and how much of that was just they didn't have much of a choice because Frank Gore was gassed?
Yeah, I tweeted exactly that after the game. I think that the first option was that, Frank Gore can't go, but then it did achieve that second part too, which you mentioned, keeping Drake mentally engaged for not just this game, but maybe going forward for the rest of the season. And he's a guy they're going to have to rely upon, especially as a pass catcher out of the backfield. But you mentioned it, Joe. He had 3 of the 4 touches on that final drive for 22 out of the 28 yards. So for all intents and purposes, he got them there to win that game. So big time there for him, and it's really cool to see him kind of have that moment emotionally. I think the shot of him on the sidelines with his head in his hands and Eric Stubbsfield, the running backs coach, over there trying to kind of give him some in the world at that moment.
Yeah, Travis Wingfield joining us, LockedOnDolphins.com. Make sure you check it out. Some great stuff. I mean, you want to talk about breakdown. Nobody does it better than Travis does. Head over to LockedOnDolphins.com. Listen, Kenyon Drake, it was a very interesting moment for him yesterday, but now moving forward with this team, do we know what the status of Tannehill is? Do we have any idea? Are we getting any of these hurt players? Are we getting healthier at all moving forward?
I think that Bobby McCain should be back this week for the Lions, which is a big deal because his backup, Torrey McTyer, who was eventually replaced by Cordray Tankersley, they both struggled, especially McTyer in that game on Taylor Gabriel. So getting McCain back will be huge. Cameron Wake had a knee scope, which sounds like the guy's a freak, so maybe he comes back this week. That's what they're aiming for, but who knows on that front. As far as the quarterback, I really don't know. We've seen a lot of mixed reports. Adam Gase said that he's confident he'll play again this year, which gives me some pause in terms of how quickly he comes back. But I don't think he's out for the season or for a long period of time just because of the way Tannehill was kind of vibrant on the side. He tore his ACL, and it showed him inside the Dolphins facility where he was just distraught. I don't think you see a jived up Ryan Tannehill if he's injured for a long period of time. So I think maybe he'll be okay, but I really don't know at this point.
Can they win with Brock Osweiler? Moving forward, if they need him for a couple of more games, is this? Do you think the confidence that this team was given yesterday, at least in that locker room, they believe they can win with Brock?
I think they have to have that belief just because of the result they got. So, I mean, it's exciting in that standpoint. But I also think that if a team kind of has a week to prepare for him, and maybe, he has a week with the pressure of starting a game on his shoulders, I don't think we're going to get the same results. I mean, he had those 2 picks that were really poorly thrown footballs yesterday. So, I don't want to say that they'll go completely in the tank, but I think that the sooner we get Tannehill back, the better.
Yeah, and the sooner they get healthier, even more important. Listen, you're 4-2. The Dolphins are 4-2 moving forward, and they looks like they're going to get a little bit healthier. This game's going to go a long way in confidence. But what happens next week, though? Moving forward, the next game. What do you think happens here?
It's hard to pick against this team at home. They just continue to win at home under Adam Gase, so I think they will continue that role. Plus, one of the things that really kind of bothered me about the game yesterday was the Dolphins still don't really have an answer for the athletic quarterback, the mobile quarterback that can beat you with his legs. Trubisky got himself about 50 yards or so. So I think going forward, as long as the Dolphins play these pocket quarterbacks that they can kind of bait into, making throws into coverage, they can do okay, and that has to do with, some of the better quarterbacks too, as long as they're not a big threat to move the ball with their legs. So I think they'll beat the Lions on Sunday, and then Deshaun Watson on Thursday is going to be a tough task.
Yeah, it looks like the schedule is actually working out in their favor, and hopefully they can rattle off a couple more wins, and then there's no doubt they are in the thick of exactly what they need to be for a playoff run this year. Travis Wingfield, LockedOnDolphins.com. Make sure you check it out. Nobody breaks down games better than he does, and it's an amazing site, too. LockedOnDolphins.com, at Wingfield NFL. Travis, you're the man. Thank you so much for taking some time out on this crazy Monday, breaking it down for us, and we look forward to doing it again.
Anytime, Joe. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Travis Wingfield, LockedOnDolphins.com. Make sure you guys definitely check it out. It's an amazing website. Plenty of great information, really deep diving into exactly what the Dolphins do each and every game. Some really cool stuff there. I want to appreciate and thank you, Travis, for stopping by here today. Make sure you guys follow him, too, at Wingfield NFL. All right, we got a couple of headlines across the board today that we want to get you caught up with. And, if you are not that hard to figure out here, it looks like the Buccaneers have fired their defensive coordinator, Mike Smith, who I don't know what the hell you're supposed to make out of that defense, but they got smoked again for another. Well, I guess you can't go 4 games averaging 38 points, your defense giving up 30-some-odd points every time without there being some sort of repercussions. And Mike Smith no longer the Buccaneers defensive coordinator. I got to give the Bucs credit. They came back. They gave it the old college try there yesterday against the Atlanta Falcons, but came up a little bit short because they decided to from, I believe there was little time left on the clock, 21-yard line, and they opted to run a hook and ladder. Very interesting play where Jameis Winston tried running it in and then flipped it back, and then Deshaun Jackson, unfortunately, didn't play shortstop in high school, so he wasn't able to pick it up and run it in. So the whole sequence of events was the strangest final play call. I'm not sure how that gets Mike Smith fired, but that final play you're on the 21-yard line. You can throw it in the end zone at any point. Even, Jameis Winston does have an arm that is strong enough to be able to throw it into the end zone. And you run you call a running play and some sort of very strange hook and ladder where you kick the ball all around and hope somebody picks it up and runs it in. The whole sequence of events was strange, but they are out, and they are out a defensive coordinator. So I do believe the linebackers coach is going to take over for them on that particular on that team. They are very strange. The Raiders are about as bad as a Raiders team we have seen in a very long time. Raider fans are not happy. I'm waiting for Vari to show up here on our Facebook live chat here, all depressed because John Gruden is realizing that you cannot run a football team like it's 1998 and expect to win in 2018. It doesn't work when you don't have the horses and you don't have the players, nor do you have the mentality to do it, to get mauled like they did. They didn't show up in London until Friday, apparently. And Gruden is it's a mess in the Raiders locker room. It's a mess at the Raiders organization. And this is going to be a complete tear down. There was some stats and figures that were out yesterday. The amount of money that they save by getting rid of Derek Carr at the end of this year is phenomenal. So, they're looking at saving maybe $15-16 million in cap space if they actually don't bring back Derek Carr or trade him. So that's a very good possibility. The Raiders are going to go nowhere fast. So, and Gruden is not sold that he can win with Derek Carr. As much as he liked to blow that smoke when he originally took the job, Gruden is not going to keep. He's not going to keep him. He's going to be looking for high draft picks and the ability to be able, and especially what he got the couple of number ones that he ended up getting from the Chicago Bears. He's going to be able to use some leverage to go up and get a quarterback over the next couple of years that he thinks he can win with. But that's not it. They should have went out and got Teddy Bridgewater when they had the opportunity. They should have went out and got him. But Bridgewater is the first guy that'll tell you he's very happy to take over what's going on for Drew Brees in New Orleans. Last night, NFL ratings up once again. That Chiefs-Patriots game was a lot of fun to watch. You don't generally get 80 points on a Sunday night football game where it's actually competitive, and it was really competitive. It was a lot of fun to watch, and the New England Patriots once again proving that they are still the big kids on the block, that you've got to knock them off their perch. And congratulations to Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid almost did it again. Almost was able to take a little chink out of the armor there, but ultimately just too much. Bob Sutton, I love the guy. He's a great defensive coordinator. He's with the Jets forever. I got nothing but mad respect for him. But there was some play calling yesterday, defensive schemes yesterday that I don't understand. Now, the good news is the Kansas City Chiefs are getting healthier on defense, so they're going to get some of their weapons back here shortly, which is good news for them. But my word, that game last night was just a whole lot of fun to be involved with. And here we go again. The ratings compared to a year ago saw incredible spikes across all the games yesterday, including the Sunday night game that we know. The Chiefs-Patriots registered a 14-6 overnight. That's 34%. That's up 34% from last year's Giants-Broncos. Plus, it's tied for the highest-rated Week 6 game in the history of the NBC Sunday night game. So many, many eyeballs are on the And keep in mind, this is while you got Red Sox and Astros going at it. Major League Baseball was going on at the same time in Boston, which is as if it's not nauseating enough. We've got to deal with all the New England fans. You got the Red Sox winning against Houston last night, and then we've got to have the Tom Brady, the Chariots roll in and have to hear how he was drinking vampire blood at halftime or some shit in order to be able to keep Father Time off him. But people are watching. The bottom line is the NFL, people are watching. Nobody gives a shit who's taking a knee anymore. And I can tell you, to me, one of the biggest reasons why the viewership is up and politics and all that stuff aside, to me, it's got nothing to do with it. There's one very simple reason why week after week, we have seen an increase in people watching more and more of the NFL. And that answer is quite simply sports betting. That is why you are having more and more people with eyeballs glued to the television set, whether it's a good game or it's a bad game. It doesn't make a damn bit of difference. The college numbers are also up this year. So Saturday and Sunday is seeing an increased amount of people watching the NFL and college football. And to me, the biggest reason is, yes, there's a lot more offense being scored now. I get that. But that's part of it. But to me, the big part of it is when you have money on the game, when you have action on that game, and the way sports betting is blowing up around the country and it's becoming legal in more and more states, I can promise you that is playing a huge factor as to why an NBC Sunday night game against New England and Kansas City. Kansas City's not a big market here, folks. It's not like it was the Rams or wasn't the Giants. It wasn't a big market team. It's Kansas City. And I can tell you right now, the more and more amount of money that is put on that game was hyped up all week long. That line stayed at 3.5 for the minute it opened. It stayed at 3.5. The over was one of the biggest overs we've seen all year long. We knew there were going to be a lot of scoring in that game, but I'm sorry. There is a lot to do with the ratings and what's going on with fantasy football and what's going on with sports betting. And if you don't think so, you hang out on social media, hang out on Twitter, and go up and down and watch the amount of people that are talking about how I need a touchdown here, or I need this guy to score a touchdown here, or I need a field goal here, or I got to cover here. You watch how much talking and how much chatter is happening right now, and you'll understand why it is that for the first time, maybe people who didn't necessarily follow football, they weren't diehards, but you know what? It changes once you have $5, and it could be as little as $2 on a game. All of a sudden, it changes the interest level in a game, and that's kind of what you're seeing right now. I mean, that was the highest-rated Sunday night game in the history of the NFL NBC Sunday night broadcast. And this is only week 6. It wasn't like this was a do or die into the playoffs. It wasn't a AFC championship game. This was week 6 in the NFL with baseball on, with the Red Sox on, one of the biggest and most popular teams across the country. They were playing last night, and it didn't matter. They still set records. And I don't think that you can deny the fact and the impact that legalized sports betting is having on this country right now. And the NFL will never admit to it, but they know damn well that's a big reason as to what's going on right now. And the sooner that these teams, and you watch what happens with the NBA this year, a Tuesday, Wednesday night Milwaukee Bucks game is going to see ratings this year like they've never seen before. Why? Because more and more people are going to start dabbling a little bit, getting a little action going on those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games in the NBA. And then all of a sudden there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on games that you're really going, why does anybody give a shit what's going on between Milwaukee and Portland? Well, you will if your under is, 121, then or 181 rather, then you're going to care. So keep an eye on that as it goes along. I think it's only going to continue to increase more and more. It certainly helps that you have guys like Sam Darnold that are just lighting up the league, and Andrew Luck is back and healthy, and Drew Brees is now the all-time leading passer, and you still got Brady here, Jared Goff and what the Rams are doing. Aaron Rodgers tonight against San Francisco, which, by the way, we'll break down for you here coming up in just a couple of minutes. There is a lot of that youth movement at the quarterback position in the NFL. It's a lot to be excited about. Fan bases, the Jets for the first time have something to be excited about. They scored 40 points yesterday, even though half of those were on field goals, but they still scored 40 points yesterday. Andrew Luck, all week long we kept hearing how Andrew Luck, it comes down to the better quarterback, and Sam Darnold versus Andrew Luck is not even in the same category. Well, Sam Darnold proved he belongs. And Sam Darnold is making guys like Curse and Robbie Anderson and, all of these people on this team that nobody's ever heard of, Quincy Enunwa, all of a sudden he's making them better, and that is the mark of a big-time quarterback. And the Jets taking the training wheels off a little bit, and he had to engineer a whole lot of drives at the end of that game because Andrew Luck just wouldn't go away, and the Jets were decimated in the secondary with injuries. Andrew Luck picked them apart. picked him apart. But you know what? Sam Darnold answered. So that was a big step in the right direction for the New York Jets and for Sam Darnold. And I know Jet fans are really, really excited as to the future of this team. And they should be. It's the first time they won 2 games back-to-back, and I can't remember how long. So they got Minnesota coming up, and I can tell you the amount of New York Jet fans. This was interesting. This was a big game because going into this week's game against Minnesota, if they had lost yesterday to Andrew Luck, there were going to be a significant portion of Jet fans going, I wish Kirk Cousins would have taken our offer and come and have come here, because Minnesota, of course, ended up beating the Arizona Cardinals yesterday. Barely, but they still beat them, and he's throwing the ball all over the yard. Kirk Cousins has made Adam Thielen probably the best receiver in the NFL right now. Kirk Cousins can ball. I mean, the guy can he can chuck the rock around the field. But there would have been a lot of Jet fans going, why did he turned us down? But I can promise you there isn't one Jet fan or anybody going, wow, actually, they're probably all saying, I am so happy that Kirk Cousins didn't take our offer and decided to go to Minnesota. And we're going to see that battle this week. So that's a hell of a storyline going into Week 7 of the NFL season. You got Kirk Cousins, who rejected, $80 million guaranteed from the New York Jets to be able to go to the Minnesota Vikings. The Jets in return got Sam Darnold with the number 3 pick. And this could very well be a win-win situation, one of those rare win-win situations in these types of situations. So looking forward to seeing that game. But you've got Baker Mayfield looked awful yesterday, but still, between Baker Mayfield, Josh Rosen quietly, because he's stuck in Arizona and not a lot of people are paying attention to him. Josh Rosen's a lot of fun to watch, guys. I mean, Arizona's found themselves a real quarterback to be able to move into the future with and to be able to build around. So this kid is the real deal, and he's not gotten a lot of press because he didn't start off the year right away. He's not Baker Mayfield, and, he's not Sam Darnold. But the truth is, this kid he's pretty good. And I hope Josh Allen is okay in Buffalo because there's no way Nathan Peterman can be employed in the NFL anymore. I'm sorry. There's no way you can continue to pay this man to throw interceptions. His last 73? His last 73 passes, 9 interceptions. He's consistent. I'll give him that. But there's no way. There's no way from a mental standpoint and you got rid of A.J. McCarron, by the way, Buffalo. You got rid of A.J. McCarron and you kept Nathan Peterman. And A.J. McCarron is kind of stuck in no man's land in Oakland anyway, although it would be nice to start. Once you start seeing A.J. McCarron take snaps and Derek Carr out, then it's fire sale time coming for the Oakland Raiders, who have already said they're trying to shop Amari Cooper. This was prior to him getting knocked into Thursday in yesterday's game. Hope he's okay, by the way. But I hope Josh Allen's all right. If not, you're going to start to see a 95-year-old Derek Anderson under center for the Buffalo Bills, because there's no way you can offensive players, they're having a hard time enough on that team. You can't expect them to go out and play for Nathan Peterman, who just closes his eyes and tries to figure out who it is that's going to be intercepting the ball and running it back for a pick 6. Who else we got on here today? I want to say hello to Sammy, want to appreciate. Steven, good to see you. David, thank you very much for dropping by, all of you guys. Once again, phone number up top, Miami Acura hotline, 855-983-2255. That is how you reach us here on the show. That is 855-983-2255, WTF 2255. That's how you hit us up here. We've got a game tonight. Who you got? You got the Packers and you got the 49ers. We do have the trends that you need to know about tonight's game before you go ahead and place any money. Plus, I'll let you hear from our good friend, Ralph Michaels from WagerTalk.com. He'll give you his thoughts on the whole C.J. Beathard versus Jimmy Garoppolo. Is there really that much of a difference between these two guys? What do the numbers say? We'll kind of break that down for you. We will do that coming up, but we do have to say thank you to a few of our sponsors here first. Of course, Low Cost Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, our friends at Miami Acura. We want to thank them very much for supporting us. They support us, guys. We certainly hope that you will support them. And coming up here in 2 minutes, we'll go ahead and break down tonight's 49ers Green Bay game, the stat and the trend that you need to know. That's coming up next.
5% on packages compared to your high-price cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. That's 800-761-1427.
Get ready to talk sports. It's the Say It With Me podcast. Now here's your host, Joe Raineri.
Welcome back in. Want to thank WagerTalk.com so very much. Being a part of the show, sponsoring the show here. Make sure you get all your knowledge. You've got access to over a dozen of the greatest sports handicappers in the country, all available at WagerTalk.com. And we always say knowledge is power here on the show. The more knowledge you have, the better chance you are of actually, profiting from sports betting. And we've already decided how popular it is getting. So make sure you head over to WagerTalk.com. Check it out when I tell you some really great information. We had a chance last week, like we do each and every Thursday. We talked to our good friend Ralph Michaels, the legend himself. We talked to him about the games that are coming up. We did have a chance to talk about the Monday night game tonight between Aaron Rodgers and C.J. Beathard. It's the 49ers taking on the Packers at Lambeau. And I'm going to play you a couple of clips of something he had to say on Thursday, some interesting stats, plus we'll go over the trends that you need to know about. But I do want to play a very interesting something that came up yesterday, last night in the game with the Chiefs and the Patriots. And I don't know if you guys had seen this, but there was a play late in the game with Tom Brady where good old Breeland Speaks. Now you're going to say, all right, who in the hell is Breeland Speaks? Well, Breeland Speaks is a linebacker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who actually had Tom Brady facing a 3rd and goal with the Patriots down 33-30. Speaks had him wrapped up, and then Brady faked to throw the ball, and Breeland thought he actually released the ball. So what did he do? Instead of finishing the sack and putting Tom Brady to the ground, he let Brady go. And then Brady, of course, turned around and ran it into the end zone to go up there 40 to 33. And that 40 to 30 at that particular point. And this was the play if you guys didn't have a chance to see it. Let's see if we can play it for you here in slow motion. Yep, this is him. He's got it. Now, Brady, he thinks he threw the ball. And he even said so after the game. He said, I thought he threw the ball, and he didn't want to get hit with a flag on third down and give them a 1st and goal. So, once again, as you sit here and watch this, this is what the refs have done to these defensive players. He thought for sure Tom Brady threw that ball and let Tom Brady go instead of trying to whip him down. And then Brady, of course, holds on to it, and they go up 40 to 30 at that particular point. So this is having an effect on the game any which way you cut it. These flags and these unnecessary, roughing the passer calls are having an effect on the game as we speak. So keep in mind that, the penalty there was a penalty, a defensive hold. It didn't necessarily matter that much in the game because the Chiefs would have avoided the defensive holding if Speaks had completed the sack, but there was a defensive holding call on that play as well. So Brady scored. It's neither here nor there, but I do think each and every week we're going to start seeing more and more of these defensive players, instead of actually following through with the tackle or with the sack, they're going to give up a lot earlier than they normally would have, and that's going to open it up for quarterbacks like a Tom Brady and a Phillip Rivers and the rest of these guys to do some damage, especially downfield. So keep an eye on that. I thought that was very interesting last night. Speaks had said, listen, it was 3rd and goal. The last thing he wanted to do was get called for a roughing the passer. And if that's the way these guys are thinking now, if that's going to be the mindset of NFL players and NFL linemen and linebackers, oh, boy. So much for defensive stands. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Okay, so tonight, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Green Bay Packers. Couple of trends we need to know, but first, let me play you what it is that Ralph Michaels had to say last week regarding the C.J. Beathard versus A.J. McCarron. Not A.J. McCarron, the Jimmy Garoppolo, rather. Because I had said, when I looked at the numbers, everyone was making fun of, C.J. Beathard, he's no Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, the numbers tell us a whole different ball game regarding C.J. Beathard and Jimmy Garoppolo. So when I asked Ralph, is there really that much of a drop-off between what C.J. Beathard brings to the table and what Jimmy Garoppolo brings to the table? And this is what he had to say.
You look what he did last week, and he had over 400 yards in that win. In the loss. But you look back at Garoppolo only beat those stats once out of all the starts, and that came the last game of the year last year against the Rams when the Rams were resting everyone. So I believe the San Francisco team is for real. And if you look at last week and you're going to say, well, how can San Francisco play with Green Bay when they lost at home to Arizona, one of the worst teams? Take a look at the stats. 447 to 220-yard edge. That's plus 227 yards. They had over double the yards. And more importantly to me, 33 to 10 first down.
Yeah, first down. So, which means that they're not necessarily losing all that much having C.J. Beathard behind center as opposed to Jimmy Garoppolo. The numbers don't lie. And that's kind of what Ralph Michaels was talking about there. And then we went on to talk about, all right, so who we got in this game? Green Bay, San Francisco. What are some of the trends that we need to know, especially when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, who are getting ready to head into a bye week? And this is what Ralph Michaels at WagerTalk.com had to say last week.
Look at what they've done. I mean, they trailed Chicago in the opener 17-0. They trailed Detroit 24-0. They trailed Washington 28-10, all those situations where they had to come from behind and won the game. Now, one interesting stat that I just tweeted again for those that want to follow is that Green Bay does have a bye on deck, and those teams that are a home favorite with a bye on deck since 2014 have won and covered 68% of their games. So when you have the better team and you know you have a bye on deck, it seems they do give that little extra effort.
Well, there you go. So, and that fits Green Bay, who's got a bye coming up. They are the better team here, and they go into this game knowing that, and they have stepped it up a little bit in the past. And some of the other trends that we know about in this game, and currently what you should know is about the Packers are currently the most popular spread bet of the week, and they even despite what we witnessed yesterday. And they're one of only 3 teams with at least 70% of the bets as of, I don't know, a couple of hours ago. So the public loves the Packers. This line was 10.5. It has been bet down to about 9, 8.5, 9 now, depending on the books that you look at. Aaron Rodgers coming off a divisional loss to the Lions. He's 10-1 straight up. And he is 8-3, if you can believe that. Yes, he is 8-3 against the spread the week after a divisional loss. And he usually wins those games by 12.9 points. 12, almost 13 points, almost 2 touchdowns he usually covers. He's played in 41 regular season primetime games as a Packers starter. 22 of them have been against NFC North opponents. 15-7 straight up and against the spread. 19 have been against teams outside of the division. Only 10-9 straight up, 8-10-1 against the spread. So he is deadly when he is playing his own divisional opponents. But when you get guys outside of that division, like the NFC West, for instance, like San Francisco, Aaron Rodgers, not that great. 10-9 straight up, 8-10-1 against the spread in his career in primetime games. This will be his second primetime game. Of course, we know against Chicago, we witnessed that, where he is a favorite and the spread is more than a touchdown against the non-divisional opponent. So the first was in 2004 when the Packers beat the Falcons. They were 13.5-point favorites. That was 43-37. So he didn't cover there either. And his numbers are pretty gaudy, too. Since Rodgers' first start for the Packers in 2008, he is 16-6-1 against the spread in primetime at Lambeau. That makes him the second most profitable quarterback behind Drew Brees. When Drew Brees is at home at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, he is 18-5-1. So Drew Brees, he shows up in prime time, and for the most part, Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field in prime time, 16-6-1 against the spread. So keep that in mind, that when Rodgers plays at home in prime time and Green Bay is 500 or worse, he is 3-0 straight up, and against the spread, he's covered all of those games by at least 11 points. The Packers entered the game 2-2-1 on the season. So that's another one of those trends that works right into it. And, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to look at tonight's game. What is the bet to look? A lot of people think the Packers should have no problem being able to cover this 8.5, 9. I think as long as you keep it under double digits, under 10, the Packers are probably the very safe bet here for tonight's game. But you heard what Ralph Michaels told you about the numbers. You're not losing an awful lot by having C.J. Beathard under center as opposed to Jimmy Garoppolo. And the 49ers' offensive line is putrid. Not that the Green Bay Packers' defensive front are all world beaters here, but they're not very good. And the Packers are healthy. Cobb and Allison did practice this week. They have their cornerback, Jair Alexander. He's also back. The 49ers are one of the most banged-up teams in the NFL, and I think Matt Breida is expected to join Dante Pettis on the bench. I don't think either one of those guys are playing tonight. There's also no guarantee that Pierre Garçon or Trent Taylor or even tight end George Kittle is going to play for the 49ers tonight. If there is a bit of good news for San Francisco, it's that they do have Marquise Goodwin back. He returned to full practice, expected to play tonight. He might run fly patterns, and C.J. Beathard might just throw it as far as he can to see if Goodwin can get under it. But the Packers were without Cobb and Allison last week when they lost against the Lions, but Devontae Adams and Jimmy Graham, they had big nights. They're probably going to have big nights again from a daily fantasy standpoint again tonight. If you can keep it under 10 points, if you can get 8.5, see what happens. I do think 49er money is going to come in here a little bit late. It might actually drive this number up to double digits, 10, before the kickoff. And if that's the case, you may want to fade them a little bit and take a look at the 49ers if you can get double digits. But under double digits, I'm going with the Packers here tonight. But do not be surprised if at some point tonight, because I can tell you right now, Kyle Shanahan is going to have some sort of, he's going to have a whole play sheet of little wrinkles, of little things that nobody is going to see coming, that he is going to be throwing towards that defense of the Green Bay Packers, which has not been great at all. So I don't think it's going to be, I think it'll be competitive, but I do think Green Bay late is going to end up winning this by at least 10 or 11 points. And it'll be a fun game to watch. And Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau Field prior to a bye week, and they could use the bye week because he's all banged up. If he can get out of here unscathed and a little bit healthy and have a couple of weeks to himself, I think Green Bay will be just fine in that situation, as Detroit had a bye week this week. All right, so I do want to thank our good friend Travis Wingfield. If you didn't get a chance to see that interview, don't worry about it. It'll be available for you right here as soon as we're done. Travis Wingfield, LockedOnDolphins.com. He had some great things to say about the Dolphins' victory yesterday. Really cool stuff. Make sure you check out LockedOnDolphins.com. If you want to know what's going on with the Phins, that's the place to go. Some really great in-depth, deep dive information about the Miami team, and the breakdown of film is really, really cool. LockedOnDolphins.com. Make sure you check out Travis Wingfield there. Good luck in tonight's game. Want to thank Ralph Michaels. As always, he'll be joining us Thursday. Don't forget, Thursday we'll be making some money. He brings his picks from WagerTalk.com. Love when he does that. Tomorrow, we've got all sorts of people. We're going to be talking baseball tomorrow. I can't wait to do that. We got to kind of figure out exactly where is this series going with the Houston Astros and the Red Sox. Scott Miller from Bleacher Report, he'll drop by. We'll talk to him about that. Hopefully, we're going to get Lisa Johnson on, who also covers the Dolphins, try to get an update on what's going on with Ryan Tannehill. And then also tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit of Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. Jory Epstein from the Dallas News is going to join us. What happens now? Is everything hunky-dory and all good to go in Dallas now that the Cowboys ended up smoking the Jacksonville Jaguars, or is there still some animosity going on there? We'll talk to Jory Epstein tomorrow, too. She'll give us the latest from Jerry World in Arlington, and we'll talk some Cowboys football. But in the meantime, enjoy the game tonight. Again, if you can get it under double digits, I think the play is definitely Green Bay. But if it starts to creep 10 and a half, you may want to consider San Francisco. So thank you guys very much for dropping by, making me a part of the day. If you like what you've seen, go ahead, like it, share it, subscribe, do all of that good stuff for us. That's how it works here on social media with live streaming. Certainly do appreciate it. Come back and join us tomorrow, 4 p.m. We do it all over again tomorrow. Have a great night, guys. Thanks for making us a part of it. We'll talk to you then.